Well, after the initial ascent under Mikel Arteta, Arsenal have been stuck in second place for 3 years running. The last step is proving the most problematic, and their bid to stay on track to win the league title brings them up against a team at the moment excited to be back at this level, but a team for whom, like Arsenal, 1 goal was enough in the opening weekend.
Yeah, and we're still finding our feet. Second weekend of the Premier League season, trying to find out and work out where teams are at. We'll find out a little bit more about these two today.
William Saliba and Gabriel, who were both named in the PFA Team of the Year for last season, along with Declan Rice. And David Raya's contribution was key to earning Arsenal that victory at Manchester United last Sunday. Saliba looking for Gyökeres, who would like to get off to a goal-scoring start as quickly as possible, as any striker would.
Yeah, and if you think about the first 2 times that ball's gone up to him in the first minute, last week against De Ligt, he had a real battle with him, but De Ligt came out on top. He's just got hold of a couple already, which is encouraging for Gyökeres.
Well, I know you had that debate last week about whether Gyökeres or Havertz would be the preference for Mikel Arteta in the big games. That decision's been taken out of the manager's hands now by the injury for Havertz.
It looks like Madueke's going to get his first touch here, and I always think he's better on this right-hand side, but he's not going to get in this Arsenal team over here because of Saka's levels, so he's going to have to adapt and play on that side, and I think work out how he can feed Gyökeres with crosses. It's quite rare now you see a left-footed player on the left wing.
Well, Madueke is the target sought out, gets his first chance to take on Bogle, and ends up putting a delivery in that has to be dealt with by Lucas Perry.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I've just referred to. You just want really good, consistent balls into the box.
Well, Daniel Farke said it wouldn't be just about a containing job here against Arsenal. He wants his team to have plenty of possession of the ball and to do what they can with it in those moments.
Yeah, and I think he's getting a little bit tired of the questions about the height of the players that he signed, referring to his front three and Tanaka all being quite small.
Yeah, I think the majority of his 9 signings have had height on their side, but he's only starting with 3 of them at the moment. Here is Madueke giving Bogle a second test, and the cross is cleared by Joe Rodon, as Calafiori had stepped up on the outside of Madueke then. Tanaka cut out by Zubamendi.
Yeah, Tanaka was very good on Monday night against Everton.
Standout performer in their promotion campaign. The goalkeeper has been added since then, and it was a problem area for Leeds, that both during the campaign, where they swapped Meslier for Carl Darlow right at the end, and when Meslier struggled during their last year, particularly in the Premier League. Perry is one of those who's over 6 foot. Player has European experience. He was a quarter-finalist in the Europa League at Lyon. There's Gabriel Goodmanson, another summer signing, Swedish international. Throw not returned to him though. Gabriel to Gyökeres. Daniel James stood on it, and Declan Rice pounced. Here's Madueke, who's seen plenty of the ball early on. Martin Odegaard. It's a long way out, and Joe Rodon was in the way of the shot. Gabriel pressing high here against Tanaka, and Odegaard there to pick up the pieces. This is Calafiori. Now Zubamendi, who's been reunited at Arsenal with Mikel Merino, but Merino can't get in the starting lineup at the moment. Now Gabriel. This is Declan Rice. Zubamendi. Odegaard. Drifting away from Stack. And now Gabriel. Leeds have certainly tried to mass their resources here to try and prevent Arsenal from playing through them. It's going to have to be intricate, it's going to have to be clever here for Arsenal. And it's given away, but Stack didn't make the most of it the first time. Gruev didn't really either, because his touch forced him to give away what would have been a free kick had the ref not played an advantage. Here's Saka. Goodmanson giving Jared Gillett the opportunity to stop play.
I think he managed it quite well there, the referee. There were a couple of fouls and he let one of them go for the advantage. Brought that one back.
Gruev got away with the initial foul, although it was a good advantage played as Arsenal were looking strong. Well, there is a number 10 shirt waiting for him in the team. He's already sported it for his very cool walkout here. Looks as though this is the kind of stage he could own.
Does that say Spurs?
I don't think so.
It's a low blow.
Just rubbing their noses in it after they tried to side him and got gazumped. Here's Odegaard. Here's Rice.
Yeah, the game settled into an early pattern of Arsenal having a wall of blue in front of them, and Leeds are going to have to work out how to get out from that deep defence. James and Nonso having to go deep and support their fullbacks. Nonso here now with Saka.
Here's Odegaard lining one up, hitting it the wrong side of the post.
Yeah, and for Arsenal, making sure that they do look to penetrate and pass their way through this Leeds team. Rather than just recycling it all the time, and Saka does well here. You'd fancy Odegaard to hit the target just outside the edge of the box.
200th game for Arsenal for Martin Odegaard. His first start actually was in a match against Leeds United, a win. In fact, he's won all 5 of the times that he's played against them. Back by Goodmanson. There's Pascal Struijk, a veteran of Leeds' last Premier League campaign. Perry just hesitating for a moment there against Victor Gyökeres. Stays in for Madueke, who got caught by Jayden Bogle.
Yeah, it wasn't a great tackle. I have to say, I think the goalkeeper, he got an early warning, I think in minute 2, where he took his time on the ball and he got hunted down. He's just got to be a bit sharper in his work. You just see him stuck under his feet. Gyökeres has nearly got on top of him twice. And he lands his full-back in a right mess.
So Jayden Bogle picks up the first yellow card of this early evening.
Yeah, puts him under pressure. It's the last thing you want away from home, playing against a talented player. 80 odd minutes now on the knife edge.
Well, if all the talk has been about Leeds' big men, this is where you want them. You want them to do their stuff. But the pylon from Arsenal will come from the far side, although Calafiori drifts in now and leads his others likewise. A poor kick in the end from Odegaard, cleared by the man. They've given it away.
Interesting to see where Eze plays for Arsenal. Obviously he's not going to play on the right hand side because Saka's there. Jokeris will play up front. Will he play in that Ødegaard role, or will he go on that left hand side and fight it out with Madueke and Martinelli?
Here's Saka. Controlled by Calafiori. He's gone down. The challenge was by James. The referee ignores it. And Saka got in there and tries to fling himself at it, but it was inches in front of him.
Yeah, he's always reaching. It's the right idea from Declan Rice. Saka stands it up to start with, and Calafiori. Advanced position, it's no penalty. As it comes back to Rice, it's a good little run there. Little check and movement from Saka. It's definitely not a penalty.
Calafiori hooking his leg into Dan James's. Here's Gruev. Touch from Peru, kept in by Willy Gnonto. There's one-way traffic so far. Leeds looking to break the mould.
Get at him.
It's James with Calafiori to take on.
I think he has to be direct and go right for Calafiori there. I always think when a wide player gets the first one-on-one in a match with a full-back, you've got to really signal your intent and go for him. Just cutting inside lets the full-back off.
Calafiori, up until that point, had both of the Leeds players on the back foot. James hoping that pattern will change. Perry going the direct route here, looking for Joel Peru. Handled by Gabriel, but not enough to see a free kick given against him. Gabriel.
They've just got to make sure they don't end up back at the keeper from a throw-in, and they have done. I always think you've got a throw-in in the attacking half of the pitch. Your opportunities to attack today are going to be few and far between, and you end up back at your goalkeeper, and it's an easy giveaway.
Daniel Farke looking for a more constructive approach from his team. He's actually won successive Premier League matches for the first time in his personal history, but those victories were some 3.5 years apart. He won his very last game in charge of Norwich at Brentford, then won on Monday night, thanks to Lucas Meche's penalty against Everton. Trying to sweep it out to Calafiori. He certainly isn't shy in coming forward. On by Goodmanson. Now Saliba. And been struggling to hold on to the ball when they have won it back. And Farke was looking for a free kick there to be awarded for the challenge on Gnonto, but the free kick that is given goes against one of his own players, Anton Stack.
Let it across his body nicely. Arsenal really positive with a throwing. Timber throwing it into a forward position, committing Leeds. Another chance to put a free kick in here. Declan Rice.
An awkward landing that for Ødegaard. His shoulder is suffering the consequences of it. Hoping for an injury-free season this year for Arsenal after it cost them dear last, but already now without Kai Havertz. And Ben White also on the sidelines after the opening weekend. But they've overloaded on the far side from the free kick taker.
Yeah, it's an interesting bunching. We used to see them do that on corners. They then tend to come in and then jump in.
Yeah, they all started offside until the free kick is drifted in. And Perry knew that he could afford to leave that in some comfort. Well, plenty of football for you. Choice on Sunday. First game at Everton's brand new shiny stadium is against Brighton. Plenty on that Crystal Palace against Nottingham Forest match, on and off the pitch. Super Sunday is Fulham against Manchester United. It's given away, and on the turn was Joel Piroe, who sweeps it wide. Leeds causing their own problems there.
I've said this in the last couple of weeks. Teams that come up from the Championship are just not going to be able to play out in the first 25 minutes against Arsenal away. Arsenal, one of the best defensive teams and pressing teams in this league. And the goalkeeper, he's had 2 or 3 warnings. I mean, they're ridiculous passes to play, and to be fair, Gyökeres has got a lot more time. He has to compose himself, settle down, take a touch. Maybe he's reaching for it, but I think he could have done a lot better. Took a touch and then just slotted it into the side of the goalkeeper, and Arsenal 1-0 up. But that should be the final warning for Leeds. I don't want to see the goalkeeper or the centre-halves playing it in their own 6-yard box again. It's ridiculous.
Well, the weekend is rounded off by another one with plenty of implications off the pitch. Newcastle against Liverpool, and Monday night action with the programme starting at 6:30, and Thierry Henry joining us for that. That shot from Gyökeres was the first he's had in the Premier League in Arsenal colours.
Yeah, it's like he didn't quite know where he was. As if he may have thought there was a defender near to him, or didn't quite have the time to be able just to sort of settle himself.
It was good pressure as well, wasn't it, from Zubamendi to force the mistake from Stack.
And the Arsenal midfield players' eyes must have sort of wide open, sort of can't believe what they're seeing from Leeds playing out, and it's a real invitation to press.
A nervous moment for Leeds, but one that they got away with, and in some respects the longer they can hang in there in this game, the more confident they might become of Marcus side getting something out of it.
Yeah, he knows he's playing against a good team, and his team have set up well defensively, so what you don't want to do is hand Arsenal a goal by your own mistakes. You know, Arsenal are very strong on set pieces, but they have struggled at times to break down deep defences. There's a chance here now for Gyökeres, and he plays it to him.
Madueke does play it to Gyökeres, but it wasn't the best ball, and Bogle stepped in.
No, it wasn't. It's one of those, if Madueke plays it into his feet, Gyökeres can then stop it and maybe take the shot early. As he makes the run round, he's got to release it to it there now, but he's going to pass it into his path. He's never on in front of him.
They made him Madueke, and the player his existing contract. Here's Stack. Now Daniel James lashing another early one, this time at Calafiori.
Yeah, again, I wish Daniel James has just gone down. As it gets played to him, drive towards Calafiori. You can get a penalty, you can get closer to the goal, and maybe then you can cut inside and shoot with your left foot.
First corner that either side has won. They did look quite dangerous with them against Everton, particularly an early one that Ethan Ampadu got an initial touch to, and minus his services today, they got Stroud, Roden, Goodmanson, all in the box, and Raya has to make the save, and Stroud realises just how close that was.
Oh, it's a great delivery. It's a great header. Great reactions from the goalkeeper as well. Raya helps him, it's right above him, so it's in his arc of his arm. Stick his arm up, but it's got to be a strong hand. and it is.
Raya, the Arsenal saviour, Struijk, who has scored here before in the Premier League, scored in a Leeds defeat here. And the battle for territory went on, but the corner was clear. Arsenal looking for the burst. Stack came back and got a key touch there, and James helped it back. Gyökeres broke quickly, but Leeds did likewise. Well, a warning shot across the bows for Arsenal, that they can take nothing for granted here.
Yeah, it's been a good 20 minutes for Leeds. The only problems they've really had is, I think, passes like that. Yeah, another moment there where playing in their own half caused them problems, but they have settled down.
Here's Tanaka.
That's better going forward, punching it through the line.
Now James Gabriel to take on this time. And the Welshman gets his cross in, and Raya had to fling himself at it, going in for it as he was with Gnonto. He's hurt himself, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's a lot better from Daniel James. This is what I wanted from him the first 2 times he got it. This time he gets Gabriel, goes outside him, puts a really dangerous cross in. It's exactly where you'd want Gnonto. It's a good run.
Daniel James with another crack at the Premier League. Been in it now with 3 different teams.
Get on with it.
There's Rice who shows for it. John, an 8-second rule one. The goalkeeper's got the ball at his feet as well then now, Gary.
Just telling everyone to calm down. There's no one panicking.
Just short from that. There's Saliba. Gyökeres going to try and fight off Pascal Struijk.
I just think of Arsenal in that first 5 minutes of the game where they had some real joy was when they were playing quickly, and then they come off it quite a bit and they start to play at a different tempo. And I call this tempo when you're 2-0 up. If you're 2-0 up, you can play like this, draw leads out, no problem. But I think when you're at home against a team that you're expected to beat, keep the particularly in possession. Don't. It's quite predictable.
They do seem to have lost some of that early initiative.
It happens here quite a bit. I mean, there's definitely patience, I get that. You're playing against the packed defence, but what the opposition team don't want is you're playing, you know, with rhythm and tempo.
There's Gyökeres, cleared by Joe Rodon, back in North London. The former Spurs defender did win both of the North London derbies he played in, although they were fleeting appearances as a substitute in both. Arsenal have certainly invested in the talent to keep the momentum going in situations like this. It is at the top end of the pitch where they've looked to make a difference, and will continue to do so with Ez's arrival. Here's Bukayo Saka. Odegaard clipping one across towards Madueke, who makes nothing of the header. It was at this ground that Noni Madueke scored his first Premier League goal for Chelsea in a 3-1 defeat. referred today to Gabriel Martinelli, who scored twice in a victory against Leeds 4 seasons ago. But the longest serving outside signing in the current Arsenal squad. He's just struggling for form a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's a live wire. He certainly is positive and he's at his best. He's just having a tough time.
Good option to have if it continues to be a struggle to break down the Leeds defence. Here's Bogle. Now Strauch. Headed back by Gruev. It was a little bit of an area of uncertainty. Gabriel Goodmanson. Now Gruev. This is Strauch. Here's Roden. Kept in by James, but not for Bogle. Another injury issue for Martin Odegaard.
Yeah, is this a hangover from the challenge before, maybe?
His shoulder he was complaining about the last time, but this time the issue appears to be somewhere on that right leg, around about the shin area. A couple of options here. Ethan Nwaneri, who made his debut for Arsenal as a 15-year-old, and it could be the same for Max Dowman, although he wouldn't be Arsenal's youngest player, because if he...
That happened about 15 minutes ago. He's just not recovered from it.
Well, it'll be a grievous blow to lose their captain on his 200th game for Arsenal, but it was a little thumbs-up signal there to Mikel Arteta, which suggests he thinks he'll be okay.
The real problem for Arsenal, the home team, is they haven't had a shot yet on target. Leeds have had one. Good save from Raya.
Still feeling some discomfort, but not enough, he seems to think, to rule him out of the rest of the game. Odegaard will be a good influence, having been something of a wonder kid himself. And he does take his responsibility as captain seriously. He's a captain who inspires by example. He's now achieved as many wins as captain in the Premier League for Arsenal as Patrick Vieira did. Here's Ricardo Calafiori on the surge forward for Arsenal, allowed to come a long way before Gruev went to engage with him.
It's disappointing from Calafiori. Half an hour in, this was a big question about Arsenal today, was I think have that spark up front in attack, and he's watching his seeing it. The question still remains. Other teams watching this will realise that Arsenal don't really break pack defences down easily.
Daniel Farke's defence is not to be broken down easily on the evidence of what we've seen so far. They've served to quieten a crowd that came in with the normal excitement that you get before a first home game of the season, which was then intensified by the announcement about Eza signing.
A spectacular piece of business from Arsenal just to sort of nip in, steal Eze away from Spurs that quickly.
A move that became ever more urgent with Havertz's injury. Here's Gabriel. Calafiori. Madueke goes on ahead, although Rodon had followed him.
It's better for Madueke because the front three are quite static. Saka's just stood out here. Gyökeres isn't doing too much in the middle, and Madueke's just hanging out on that left-hand side, but he needs to get at his full-back.
James comes back in front of his full-back that time to block the cross. And here is James. Peru trying to return it to him, but again, Leeds have problems just holding on to it when they have got it back.
The Arsenal fans just getting a little restless, just want a bit more urgency in the game.
Here's Bukayo Saka. Escape from Gnonto. Goodmanson knew he didn't quite have the legs to run out. Has to try and somehow protect it. But Timber joins in there with Saka. Here's Odegaard.
I could have played it into Zubamendi's feet there, Odegaard. He refuses the pass, they end up going back. Oh, that's the keeper, I'm sure. If you look back there, there's a pass into Zubamendi.
Played by Goodmanson.
I mean, this is the example of they win it back here high up the pitch. You watch Odegaard now, that pass into Zubamendi there in the box. He's just got to stick that in there.
It just feels a bit safe to you at the moment.
Yeah, they're too guilty of overkill on possession, thinking about not giving it away, not taking risks, not expressing themselves. We know they can do this. As I said before, you do this at 2-0 up. It's better from Calafiori.
Calafiori's run it deflected across, and Rodon knew that he couldn't afford to take any chances there from the bounce. So Calafiori will show plenty of interest in this. It was how he got his goal last weekend. And Declan Rice who took that corner to take this one.
Yeah, we know Arsenal thrive in these situations. Very.
And Leeds last season had problems defending set pieces, which was an issue they were looking to urgently address.
Well, Saliba's in that position that he was last week. He looks like he's going to go and sit in under the keeper, under Lucas Perry right now there.
It's swung in, oh, and it's ended up in the back of the net. Well, Timber, from the Arsenal perspective, got a touch on it. Was it the final touch? But he got in the thick of it, and Arsenal, from their usual productive route, get the lead.
Well, they're experts.
Here's the Arsenal goal scorer. Here's Zubamendi. Now Saliba. Declan Rice. Now Zubamendi. Gruev. Here's Rodon.
Yeah, it's a challenging situation for Leeds about how they're going to shift themselves up the pitch, because they're trying to play out from the back. They've obviously got three diminutive players up front. They're not target men, as it were, so you have to try and play through. That's difficult.
Zubamendi trying to slot it through there for Odegaard. It was Rodon who stepped in. Back from Calafiori, here's Madueke's delivery met by Rodon. And Zubamendi going for the spectacular. Looks as though Odegaard's day is done.
Yeah. It was always going to be doubtful that he could carry on. Obviously, the injury occurred 15 minutes before he went down. And he's looking up in the air, a little disappointed, shaking the head.
Well, they don't want to take any chances with a trip to Anfield looming. They would prefer to wrap Odegaard in cotton wool, I'm sure. Nwaneri, who appeared as a 15-year-old, was given a little bit of a break from the limelight, really started to establish himself more last season. Contributed 9 goals along the way. Had to slot in really for Saka last season when he had a prolonged spell out with injury. But he's operating from a more central position, having come on now for Odegaard.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can just bring a spark in there for Arsenal, quicken the game up.
Here's Gabriel. Bogle. Madueke had chased back with him and just managed to halt his progress. Calafiori was the one who took him out.
Yeah, it's one thing about Arsenal. You can never complain about their ability to get back and recover. Their wide players, their midfield players, their forward, they sprint back, every single one of them. I'd say that that's a given and it should happen, but to get a group of players to do that every single time, week in, week out, not as easy as it looks, particularly forward players. Arsenal do it.
Who scored freely in the Championship, waiting to follow that up in the Premier League now. Bogle getting his footwear in order while Stack contemplates alongside him.
What's going on here? He's taking an age. I think it actually is something that I've seen in the first couple of weeks. I know teams have to set these things up, but every free kick seems to be taking a stupid amount of time.
And all that weight, and it comes to that. But being put under pressure by Madueke, whose perseverance seemed to have paid off, but the referee blew the whistle to pull it back.
Yeah, there wasn't too much in it. Stack just got himself in a bit of a mess. The ball was bouncing and he couldn't get hold of it quickly enough, and a little bit maybe on the shoulder.
It's generous, isn't it?
It is, yeah, because he lets go. I mean, there's no way that would have pulled him round. He's made a mess of it, the Leeds United midfield player.
Here's Goodmanson.
I think Leeds played really well on Monday night, but I think they're just going to have to try and find a different way of playing away from home, because you're playing your way through teams away from home. It's going to be very difficult. And they're a little bit confused at the moment out there about how they're going to get into the game, because long balls, Saliba and Gabriel swallow them up, which means they can't get out.
Saka effected the tackle, but it ran in Leeds' favour. Here's Tanaka. Bogle's made a run through the middle. James had stayed out wide, but he's looked the other way.
Well, this is the first time actually that I can think that they've got the whole team in the Arsenal half of the pitch with control of the ball, so they can start to play the football a little bit from this position.
Stack. Well, he is settling into this league, Gyökeres, but a lot of what he's done so far has gone astray.
Yeah, it's been a struggle, and I thought he showed glimpses last week. I know that he didn't produce anything in the game against United, but I thought De Ligt marked him brilliantly, and obviously playing at Old Trafford's a tough game. I'm a bit more concerned about today. Obviously, we're very early in his career, but you can't let that negativity spiral build. You can't let... Well, the pressure's on him. People are looking to him to score that 20 goals that'll take Arsenal to the title. And the scrutiny will be great if it continues like this. He needs a goal.
Did score prolifically in Port. Here's Strauch. The direct route hasn't really served the purpose for Leeds so far.
No, and that's the problem they've got. And that's why I called them confused a few minutes ago, because you've got James Gnonto and Perot up top, who basically you can't hit from distance. So then you've got to try and work your way through a very good Arsenal press, which is equally as difficult, and that's the problem and conundrum that he'll have to solve at half-time, and not just at half-time, but throughout this season. Daniel Farke, he's got to find a way away from home where he can't be as dominant in possession, to get some control of the game further up the pitch. You have to have forwards that can hold the ball up, and midfield players who can take the ball. Also just get pinned back.
Well, he does have the option of the Swiss international Noah Okafor, who
this play. Leeds get the ball back, and then Declan Rice's reaction on transition is brilliant. Great pass forward, and you think he's going to play it across to Gyökeres, who can get his first goal for the club, but no, he just belts it with his right foot, and it's over the shoulder of Perry before he even knows it. It's a tight angle, and you don't expect it, and the goalkeeper certainly didn't expect it. It's a ferocious strike.
His third goal against Leeds, his first one on home territory. And Arsenal's anxieties considerably eased in the last 11 minutes of this half.
I was about to say that Mikel Arteta had said what Daniel Farke may want to be talking to his players about at half-time, and I was thinking that Mikel Arteta would want more spark, more urgency, quicker passes forward, more risk in the final third, and we've just seen what they can do when they play forward and in behind, and you've got good runners. Walker's made a good run, actually. Saka could have played it across to him, but what a goal.
He did have injury issues last season, did Bukayo Saka. That's his second Premier League goal since November. Rice with the switch.
Rice's work on the goal was brilliant. I talked before about Arsenal, about when they give the ball away, the reaction of everybody in the team, it really is fantastic. That's why they're so good defensively, not just because of the centre-backs and the goalkeeper, just because of the general approach and mentality towards not giving a goal away and not letting the other team play.
Here's Rice.
The reason that Leeds have given goals away in the first half, one is a set piece, they'll have known about that before the game, and then the other is getting caught on the ball in their own defensive third.
2 shots on target in the first half, 2 goals. Declan Rice providing the first with a corner that was headed in by Jury and Timber, and those 2 players involved in the second as well. Rice in winning it back, Timber in freeing Bukayo Saka, who lashed in a second before half-time to give us a scoreline of Arsenal 2, Leeds 0.
G-O-A-T, you can be the greatest of all time.
Sister and brother, with all of my friends.
Guinness Zero presents Sky Sports coverage of the Premier League.
much about playing Gyökeres in just to try and get his confidence going?
I think it's all about fitness for him, Gyökeres, at this moment in time. He needs to, obviously, he's quite erratic, the chance he had, but look, you need to get him a bit more involved in the game and try and play to his strengths. Everyone's playing a bit individual at this moment in time, and I feel like the second half is to try and unleash him a little bit more.
Arsenal lead 2-0. Let's see if Leeds United have got something to say about the course of this game over the next 45 minutes with Gary Neville and Rob Hawthorne.
Well, Tanaka has just made a late return to the pitch for Leeds, who look to overturn this 2-goal deficit. They let in 4 the last time that these two sides met, some 2 years and 4 months ago, in the short-lived reign of Javi Gracia. But a big task facing them here, with an Arsenal team having endured some nervousness when David Raya had to make that save from Pascal Struijk, but then coming strong as the half wore on.
That second goal is a real problem for Leeds. Sort of torn, I would imagine, the Leeds United manager at half-time between sort of working out how to try and get back into the game without going getting beat 4 and 5.
Fury will try and launch one. This is Saliba. Now Maneri, that they brought on to replace their stricken captain.
I don't think it'll be long before the Leeds United manager looks at that front three and thinks about how he can change it.
I'd be surprised to some that he hasn't done that already.
Yeah, I thought he might.
There's Bukayo Saka. More and more confident on that right foot of his, isn't he, after that lashed first half finish. Zubamendi.
No, it's not something that's promoted too much nowadays, but there was a thing that when you played away from home, you wanted to be able to clear the ball up the pitch, and your front player had to try and get you a free kick, buy you some time, get hold of the ball. I think that's the problem that Leeds have. Everything really has to be perfect up to that front three of Roncho, James and Pirot. It's unlikely to be that way.
Surprising in a transfer window that's been considered by many to be an attempt by Leeds to add a bit more physical robustness. Calafiori. Swept forward by him. Now Gyökeres timed his run well, certainly on the end of it. Gyökeres with options to his right, looking to go all the way himself, and he
big moment.
That's the first, and he's hoping there'll be plenty more where that came from.
Big moment. Eberezer, a little smile. He'll be in that position in a couple of weeks, wanting his first goal for his new club. And there's a relief. A feeling of, whew, he scored. I actually nearly said as it got played in the channel, right, what have you got? It's the first time we've seen him in a game and a half where he's actually been able to get one-on-one with someone, face them up. I'd say he's always going to come back inside. Struijk just gets one-on-one with him, allows him to come back in on that favoured right foot, which is not great defending, but he's powerful, he's strong. And he just nips it away from Bogle, which is a really important touch, that poke there. And he does, the keeper's almost, his weight is shifting towards that far corner, but huge moment for Gyökeres.
After a first half in which not too much had gone right for him, it's a different story at the start of the second half of his home debut. Set plenty of store by him in spending over £60 million to bring him here. Up towards Gyökeres again. It's only the second shot that Gyökeres has had in the Premier League. First was off target in the first half after a Leeds mistake, but Arsenal are flowing now. It's Calafiori, and it's blocked by Joe Rodon. Here's James. Now Goodmanson, who I think was the player who was playing Gyökeres onside when he made his run.
Saka's just gone down here out of picture. You see him there now, just appeared. Yeah, doesn't look promising.
I mentioned a couple of times already that he had his injury issues last season, did Bukayo Saka, as did Arsenal collectively, and they were hoping for something of a break from that this season. They lost their captain in the first half, and Saka, who dispatched Arsenal's second goal confidently enough, doesn't look too confident.
No, that doesn't look good. I'm just reading his lips. Just thinking, oh my God, has he felt something that he doesn't like?
Well, remember, they go to the champions Liverpool next week, to Arsenal, which is why these are potential clouds on the horizon. They then have the international break in September, but then the three teams that they have after that are all English contenders in Europe. They've got Forest, they've got Manchester City, they've got Newcastle, so it's a tough start to the season for them.
A tough start, and he's a tough kid who doesn't ordinarily go down easily at all, if ever.
Well, I presume we are going to see Madueke now switch to the right, and Leandro Trossard will occupy the position that Noni Madueke has been playing in. But this is a very sad side for Arsenal.
But that's why Arsenal have signed Madueke, Eze, they've got Trossard, they've got Martinelli, Guarnieri. They've got a lot of players who can play in those areas, but none with the quality of him. He's the big loss. And it's just very slow, disappointed Bukayo Saka that walks off this pitch.
So Saka off, and with a word to his manager to transmit the bad news, exactly what happened. This is where it happened. Pulled up. Just seemed to say to his manager that he felt something, without being specific.
Yeah, you got that right, Robert. Maybe his left knee. That's what it looked like. Obviously, can't be sure.
And this, I suppose, is what you have to build into the equation when we're saying how are they going to fit in all these talents, because injuries are unforeseen circumstances, and Mikel Arteta will be glad that he's strengthened his team to try and cope with absences. Here's Gabriel. From Trossard. Here's Gabriel. It's Calafiori. Now Gabriel. Timber. Madueke from the right side looking for Gyökeres. Struijk anticipated that. Madueke trying to find a way through. And he has bustled his way through. Very nearly made something of it.
Yeah, he's better over there straight away. Mentioned at the start of the game that it's quite I've just seen him on this left-hand side. He's comfortable.
Ranieri took a deflection. It's going to be a corner.
Yeah, Madueke looks like a different player all of a sudden, just in a space where he feels used to playing.
Well, you don't want to be profiting from somebody else's misfortune, but Madueke might be the unwitting beneficiary of what happened to Saka.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, it's the hamstring.
Yep, looks like the left hamstring was the issue. So Madueke might be filling the role for a while. Declan Rice, super effective from corners, twice already in the Premier League this season, leading to goals and putting another one into a dangerous area. And amidst the scramble, it's been turned home again, and it's Jurrien Timber again. He got his head to a Rice corner in the first half, and he scrambles this one home in the second, and Arsenal now dominant.
Well, there was a risk for Leeds that they could end up at 4 and 5, but they've got to 4 quite quickly in this second half, Arsenal. And we mentioned it on the first corner, the delivery from Declan Rice is absolutely sensational. It's right on top of the goalkeeper, but to a point whereby there's that many bodies, it's just very difficult for him to come out and deal with it. So much whip on it, and it's just bouncing around. Saliba keeps it alive. Struijk's trying to get rid of it, but he doesn't know where the ball is, and then it just falls. I think off Calafiore's little deflection to Timber, and he pokes it forward. Arsenal's corner count and goals count is really special.
VAR is just checking whether there might have been a handball in there from William Saliba, so the kick-off is being delayed just so that this can be checked. But it's not going to change the outcome.
No, it's Saliba's chest.
Well, Leeds making changes. Sean Longstaff has just come on. Tanaka has gone off, and Lucas Mecha, who scored their penalty against Everton on Monday, comes on to take the place of Joel Piroe, just at a stage where this game well and truly seems to have got away from Leeds United now.
Yeah. I know I said they don't want to be at 4 and 5 when they were 2-0 down Leeds, but you don't want to be certainly at 6 and 7. The club's coming up from the Championship. It's a real problem for them when they do go 2-0 down at half-time. Do they try and get back into the game, or do they say, no, shut up shop and try and just get out of here without being embarrassed?
Declan Rice has had a big part to play in all 3 Premier League goals that Jurrien Timber has scored. He got the assist for the one he got against Manchester United last season, got the assist for the first one in this match, directly from the corner, and it was his corner that led to the scramble from which Timber finally converted Arsenal's 4th goal of this evening. First time that Jurrien Timber has managed a scoring double, and in doing so he's doubled his tally for Arsenal from before this season. He actually missed the back end of last season through injury. First time he started since April because of that. He had an ankle operation in the meantime, but he's certainly come back with a vengeance.
Yeah, and Ben White started the game at Old Trafford last weekend, but when Timber came on, he played really well.
Well, we're at the hour mark. This, you would think, Gary, would be the perfect occasion on which to give Max Dowman his head.
Yeah, it would almost feel mean if he didn't bring him on. Yeah, this game's won.
Well, they've only got one substitution slot left, having made those enforced changes with Odegaard and Saka getting injured. And Arsenal feeling in cruise control now. Here's Calafiori. Gabriel. There's Waneri. Rice. Madueke with a cross. Gyökeres was hoping it would land for him. Calafiori didn't really have a clear sight of goal. The moment is coming.
Yes. 15.
What were you doing at 15? Dare I ask?
Getting pushed back from central midfield to right back because Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes and David Beckham joined United.
It didn't work out too badly though, did it?
Yeah, I was nowhere near the first team, that's for sure. I mean, for a player to play for a club of this stature at 15, you're talking ability and talent. I think we heard Jamie Redknapp give a brilliant analysis of Dowman, obviously having watched him and got some personal stories of how good this kid is. First time that I'm watching him, and brilliant.
There's Calafiori going for it, just eased out of the way by Gruev. I think he was trying to turn on it. Trossard misses the tackle and Leeds just relieved to get it clear. It is going to be a triple change by Arsenal. Lewis Skelly and Christian Mosquera will be coming on for a debut also to come on. Here's Jayden Bogle trying to slide one across, but Gabriel is in the way. Well, here's the break in play that's needed to make the changes. And these are the three coming on, and the first of them is the one that's been talked about for ages. I think Arsenal actually wanted to incorporate him into the first team last year, but had to wait because he's a player who has consistently played above his age level in coming through. Max Dowman has been described by one of the coaches he's had at Arsenal of being potentially the new Kaka. He's coming on to take the place of Noni Madueke, and at the age of 15 years and 234 days, Max Dowman makes his senior Arsenal debut. Calafiori has gone off to be replaced by another graduate of the academy here, Miles Lewis Skelly, who had his breakout season last year. And a young player brought in from outside, from Valencia in fact, Christian Mosquera, comes on to make his debut. All eyes on him, and he's shown that he hasn't been phased in what's been asked of him before. I think he impressed pre-season in a match against Newcastle, where he showed he could handle the physical side of it, especially against the likes of Joe Linton. So Nwaneri fits into the order in the Premier League. Just a little bit older than Nwaneri, but a little bit younger than Leicester's Jeremy Monga.
So let's get this right. He's got another year at school.
Yeah.
He's doing his GCSEs.
Doing his GCSEs next spring.
year.
Here's Gabriel. Leeds, a couple of changes up their sleeve, and it's going to be a debutant coming on for them as well. Noah Okafor is the player that they call for. Brendan Aronson is on first as Daniel James makes his exit. So the American slotting in a familiar figure.
I think for Leeds, Daniel Farker could look at this last 25 minutes and think of it as, well, maybe can we try and see how we would look at this again if we were coming to a team like Arsenal in a few weeks? How would we play differently? I know it's obviously different because the game's over and Arsenal will amend what they do, but almost try and pick up something from this last 25 minutes because they're not going to get 3 points. But they've certainly got more physical presence now on the pitch.
Physical challenge taken to Leeds there by Victor Gyökeres. Rodon was on the receiving end of it. Okafor, who's come on for Leeds, actually played against Arsenal pre-season with AC Milan. Milan lost the game, but a penalty shootout was played anyway, in which he took one and missed. Here's Dowman. Arsenal fans are willing him to make a strong impression. They love it when they see one of their own coming through, as he has. Saliba. Here's Gabriel. Gyökeres. Zubamendi. Tackle from Sean Longstaff. There's Gabriel. Zubamendi looking to free Dowman. He's aiming to get in behind Goodmanson. Lewis Skelly. Here's Longstaff. For those in the academy, isn't it, to see a pathway through, and Arsenal have consistently shown that there is.
Yeah, it's crucial. Particularly also nowadays where players cost an absolute fortune to buy. The more you can produce, the better. He left the ball behind, it's put out by Mosquera. The Leeds attempt on target was way back in the first half when it was still 0-0. That save from David Raya certainly helped
to turn the match in Arsenal's favour. The team that scored so many goals in the Championship, 95 in all, nobody in the 4 divisions bettered that, is going to find it more difficult to score as prolifically at this level.
And I think you've seen the sort of 3 players who played with them in the Championship, Nonto, James and Perrault. It's only a couple of games in. I think if you speak to Leeds fans, I know a couple of them.
Do you get close to them?
They say that they do need more more strikers, more players up front. I think you can just see Okafor on that left-hand side already. Metcha, they look like a better fit already. They look like they've got more presence up front. Like they're going to compete more for balls. I think everything has to be perfect for that that starting 3. And it's not going to be perfect for Leeds playing away at grounds like this. You have to play balls forward, and get something out of nothing. Playing as world-class centre-backs.
Well, they host Newcastle before the international break, so they will be hoping that the Alexandra Isak saga isn't resolved by then, or certainly not in Newcastle's favour. Well, good progress made by Waneri. Daman is free over to the right, but the path to him was blocked in the end by Stack. Bogle ran out of room. Busy weekend to come. Everton launching their new stadium against Brighton. Super Sunday, 1 o'clock on main event. Choice of viewing for you at that time with the high-pressure game between Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest. Fulham against Manchester United is our later game on Sunday, Super Sunday from 4 o'clock. And Thierry Henry joins us for Monday Night Football. And it should be quite a Monday Night Football with Newcastle against Liverpool. So a chance for Leeds to assess their next opponents and for Arsenal to do likewise. Rice. There's Daman. To Zubamendi. Now Saliba. This is Rice. Gabriel.
Yeah, I think this is where Arsenal can play this type of football, recycle it, keep control of the game, run the clock down, not make any mistakes, keep another clean sheet, maybe score more goals.
Here's Daman trying to get the better of Goodwinson, but he stuck out a leg at just the right time to take it away from the youngster. Which was being forced back and has won the free kick. Struck. Archer going up with Lewis Skelly. This is Saliba. Main aim now for Arsenal will be to keep that clean sheet, to keep the back door locked tight. Here's Rice, whose set-piece deliveries have played such a crucial role in this for Arsenal.
Yeah, 2 brilliant deliveries for the goals, but also he was the one that broke up play before Arsenal's second goal as well. 3 really important contributions.
Trossard aimed for Daman and picks him out with a brilliant ball. Now what can he do? Daman! have the fairy tale ending.
Oh, everyone was willing to finish that good bit of work off, apart from those Leeds fans in the far corner. As he cut inside and just takes an extra touch here, you think it opens up for him.
He would be Arsenal's youngest scorer if he was to score, Max Dowman, and we think he would also be the youngest ever scorer in the top flight. As far as we know, that record's still held by Jason Dezelle, who was 16 when he got his in the pre-Premier League era.
So what happens a week on Monday when they all go back to school? Do we know? I'm just thinking.
Well, I do remember doing the one of the Leicester's games last year and being told that Jeremy Monga came off the field from the match and then went straight back into studying Hamlet.
Imagine going to training on the Monday morning with Saka, Rice, Saliba, and you've got to do double geography, double history. Which one do you want to do?
PE.
PE, yeah. I shouldn't joke, because it's important that he does finish his studies and has that safety net. You never know what's going to happen in the footballer's career, but it is a real question I'd like the answer to, actually. How are they going to manage that if he's going to be in and around the first team?
Well, he does have to manage the minutes of Dowman, just as he's had to do with Waneri as well. But clearly, from the Arsenal manager's perspective, if you're old enough, you're good enough.
Yeah.
Or is that the other way around?
No, it's very rare you get a player like this that emerges that you just think keep stepping up the levels, and it's to a point whereby you just can't. I mean, I remember seeing Ryan Giggs as a 14, 15-year-old and couldn't believe my eyes. It was just something incredible. Made you feel inferior as a football player, as a young football player playing with him, how far ahead of you he was, and then obviously he gets into United's team at the age of 16, makes his debut, and it's not surprising. Similarly, Wayne Rooney.
Here's Bogle for Leeds, and the door slammed in his face. Arsenal did have their youngest ever starter last season. It was a goalkeeper, Jack Porter, in a League Cup tie. They've never really, under Mikel Arteta, been afraid of giving youth a chance.
Well, they brought Lewis Skelly in as well, in an important part of the season, to be fair. A lot of managers and clubs talk about pathways for young players, and it's just words. I remember Jurgen Klopp a couple of seasons ago bringing on those young players in that Carabao Cup extra time period. A really brave decision at the time, but it won his team the game.
Yeah.
I think Mikel Arteta did it in his first season when he had the Aubameyangs of this world, Lacazettes, and he brought in Martinelli and Saka, didn't he, and Emile Smith-Rowe. So he has done this before, where he's introduced young players.
And they ended up winning the FA Cup in that first season of his in charge. Here's Leandro Trossard. Here's Mosquera. Downing. Goodmanson has the job of trying to stop his headline-making potential here. And if that's the way he has to do it, that's the way he has to do it.
I mean, that's the one thing that you would expect he may struggle with, Dowman, would be his strength up against, effectively, men. He's got a lovely balance about him, you can see that in his first 15 minutes, and that's a real sort of shoulder-to-shoulder battle with Goodmanson. And it's Goodmanson who ends up on the floor first. A little turn which you'd expect this type of technical ability, but it's this little bit now where you've got that arm on arm and that strength at length that wingers have to have sometimes. They can be wiry when you look at them, but they're really strong lads and they've got good balance. And he's got those qualities, you can see off that run there.
Well, both fullbacks have now been booked in Goodmanson's case for his reaction to the foul being given. And here we go again. Is it going to be another story of Declan Rice in a set-piece delivery? No, it isn't. He's given way on this one.
Yeah, he's just advising, I think.
An Aries kick into a dangerous area, and Dowman!
Well, to start with, it was a good delivery again. It's a great defensive header from Strauch. He's under a lot of pressure, but he can only head it out to the edge of the box. It sits up for Dowman. He fancied himself. There's a nice space in that far corner that he was aiming for. It's been a good day for Arsenal, apart from the loss of their captain, Martin Ødegaard, and obviously Bukayo Saka, which just puts a cloud on the day slightly, particularly if there are injuries that are going to keep these two really important players out for a good few weeks. So they lost Havertz during the week.
Trossard. It was a long way to see if that was a handball. Gabriel and Lewis Skelly. Zubamendi. Here's Gabriel. Well, he looks a very disconsolate figure, doesn't he? You want to be out there playing his part in this.
Yeah.
But he has to take it on the chin. Sam Byram is on for Jayden Bogle.
It's a great game to look forward to next weekend, Arsenal versus Liverpool.
Curled around towards Lucas Mecha, but couldn't get close enough to do anything with it.
It was a good ball. Arsenal just give it away and they pop it forward. Aronson just reacts quickly, gets on the half turn. It's the right idea.
Gabriel. Here's Rice. Saliba. Gabriel reaching out to Dowman, but Goodmanson there ahead of him. There's Lewis Skelly. We've talked about Arsenal injuries, but Leeds lost a key figure of their own with Ethan Ampadu's absence. Struijk handed the captaincy today with him not being here. It's a loose touch from Gabriel, but he manages to rescue that against Aronson. Inviting Leeds onto him, and then just picking out Declan Rice. Rice. Trossard. Zubamendi. Here's Lewis Skelly. Trossard taking his eye off it momentarily. Here's Rice. Trossard with the ball across, giving Dowman something to try and reach. Odds were always stacked against him. Can they finally break the Arsenal lines here? It's Stack. It's a fairly tame attempt in the end to try and put it through for Aronson. Leeds win at Old Trafford was their Arsenal's win, sorry, at Old Trafford was their fourth successive opening day victory, and it looks for the fourth consecutive year that they're going to follow it up with another. Here's Declan Rice. Rice looking perhaps to go all the way himself. No, he's laid it off to Dowman. He in turn looks to Nwaneri, and Stack emerges with it. I think they were trying to put that one on a plate for the youngster.
Yeah, could he have taken it first time?
Those decisions in key moments, part of the educational process on the field. Decisions that have to be made at speed as well. It's a free kick here for Arsenal. Lewis Skelly taking a blow to the lower back.
Yeah, Lewis Skelly getting a whack. He's going to get a few of those actually, because he plays like a number 10. Some of his touches when he gets it played into him on that, really knows where he is. I've seen him a couple of times just jinking there away from people, which means he is going to get the odd whack.
Yeah, they do seem to have inverted the full-backs, particularly on the left side, more in the second half than they did in the first. Calafiori had started to do that before he went off. Is the ball rolling, or the referee not blown for the restart? It's going to have to be retaken anyway.
Yeah, I think with Calafiori, you want to see him more going on the outside and driving forward with that power that he has. I think for Lewis Skelly, he's more capable of going in that space in midfield. Different profiles, different players.
He's left to Declan Rice to deliver. And nothing comes from it. Here's Struijk. by Zubimendi. Gruev. Here's Roden. Trossard stepping in. Well, Leeds just want this match to end now, but they've got to endure another 5 minutes of it. That's how much time has been added on. Saliba. Here's Lewis Skelly. Rice. Here's Mosquera. Now Saliba. Arsenal can afford to play conservatively now. And this is on Leeds to try and get it off them, to get some initiative back in stoppage time. Not that it's going to change the outcome. Longstaff tackled by Zubimendi, and here go Arsenal again. There it is, leading the charge, finding his fellow youngster. Dalman, was he tripped for a penalty? It's Stack, and the referee thought about it and gives it. Max Dalman, on his debut for Arsenal, wins them a penalty.
I wasn't sure it was, it didn't feel right, but we're a long way away up here. Let's have a look. So there's a foot was in there. Not sure. I'm not sure that's a penalty. Does he make contact with that first foot there? Oh, he does actually. Yes, he does. He stands on his toes. It's clumsy from Stack. I thought he might have missed him, but he doesn't. You'll see there, and then that's that second leg, that carry leg, which kicks against Stack, which I thought was maybe an exaggerated dive, but that first one is going to be the one that counts and get that young man, his team, a penalty. Who takes this?
Well, yeah, because obviously no Saka. He's been the reliable penalty taker. Rice is holding the ball, but Victor Gyökeres comes here as a regular penalty taker, so you would think it might be handed to him.
Yeah.
So the penalty decision is confirmed by Craig Pawson in VAR.
I think the Arsenal fans behind the goal singing Max Dalman's name, maybe in appreciation of the work, but maybe they want him to have the penalty, but there's a cheer goes up for Gyökeres.
Well, you can understand that in perhaps going with a more experienced player. You wouldn't want to do anything, would you?
Don't mess around.
His career.
Don't mess around. Goals could matter at the end of the season. Plus, goals for him certainly will matter when he's judged.
The encroachment protocols are being reinforced by the referee while Gyökeres prepares to take this kick. So on his home debut, a goal already in Arsenal colours for Victor Gyökeres. Make that 2. 5 for Arsenal. A second bonus goal for their new striker, whose career here is now well up and running.
2-2, goal a game, man. It's an emphatic penalty. A little hug with Max Dowman, who he thanks for that little jinking run that won the penalty in the first place. Just power with real accuracy. It's a good penalty. He puts a lot behind that.
Well, it wasn't an overly emotional reaction from the Arsenal manager, but Gyökeres will be delighted. Say 2-2, strikers love those goal-scoring ratios, don't they? The match.
It's not him. Special mention for Declan Rice for his free kick delivery and his pressurising on that second goal, but I'm going to go for Timber.
Nothing to do with the position you used to play.
No,
of course.
I mean, if I can give the right back, if I can give a right back man of the match, I will try and do that. But if he scores 2 goals, plays the way he did, he impressed me last week when he came on at Old Trafford. He's the man of the match.
Almost the perfect day for Arsenal. 2 wins out of 2 and no goals conceded at the start of this Premier League campaign. 5 goals scored to defeat Leeds here, and again a fullback on the scoring. It was Calafiori last week. This week Jurrien Timber struck not once